Hey, good afternoon, ABM, gas, and Yumes. Okay, so for today, we have 22 participants from ABM, gas, and Yumes. Okay, so for today, our subject is entrepreneurship. So we are already in the chapter 2, business plan. Okay, so as you can observe in your in the messenger of your Quipper, I've been sending link of videos for TVL as well, and then for the ACADS, no? Pwede nyo panoorin yung sinasend ko din sa TVL. Okay, kasi yun yung mga first part or other parts of the lesson. If you just want to explore more, or if you want more explanation na nandoon, no, sa Quipper natin. Okay, so ito, lesson 3 na tayo agad sa business plan. So yung lesson 1, it's just the definition, purpose, and market need identification. Yung definition ng business plan, bakit kailangan gumawa ng business plan, and then the market need identification. Ayan, kung sinong target market natin. And then sa lesson 2 naman, na-discuss yung introduction, kung ano ba yung dapat na nakalagay sa introduction. More likely it should be 3 sentences lang, no? And executive summary, we all know yung executive summary, pag natapos na natin lahat ng chapters, lahat ng parts ng business plan, kapag nagawa kayo ng business plan, saka tayo nakakagawa ng executive summary. So yun, dapat sa executive summary na ilagay mo na yung mga gusto mong i-share sa mga users, no, ng business plan. So sino nga ba yung mga users? For example, yung mga shareholders, mga business owners, mga investors. Ayan. And then the proponents, usually ito yung mga stakeholders. More likely din, ito yung mga gumawa din ng business plan. For example, yung kunyari yung grupo nyo, you can put all the names of the preparer of the business plan. Okay, and after that, for our lesson 3, yan. So another part of the business plan is the target customer, value proposition, market, and product offering. Okay, so what is your idea of presenting proposed product or service? Okay, so tingin nyo, how do we present, no, yung proposed product or service? Okay, so as you can see here, merong idea, ayan, plan, and action. Okay, so when we present our proposed product or service, hindi lang dapat yung pinaka-output yung share natin. Okay, so syempre, unang-una kapag nagpe-present tayo ng proposed product natin or proposed business, you will tell the investor or the shareholders or the business owners yung idea mo. So dapat hindi lang idea. Okay? Dapat meron ka ding plan on how to do it, where do we need to get the funds para magawa tong idea mo, and how feasible is this? Ayan. And then after that, the action, okay? Or yung implementation na tinatawag. Okay? So hindi lang dapat may plano, hindi lang dapat idea, dapat napuput siya into action. Okay? Kayang i-implement, possible tong product na to. Okay? Kung ganon kapag nagpe-present tayo in front of the shareholders. Okay, yung kagaya ng napapanood sa TV, like sa mga dramas, sa mga K-drama din, yan, sa mga palabas sa ABS-CBN and GMA7, kapag may mga CEO or aspiring to be CEO, nagpe-present sila ng product nila. And that's how they present their product, no? Parang nagko-commercial din, parang nag-advertise din. Parang mga sales lady din, di ba? Yun. So, mula muna sa idea up to the plans and then action. Okay, so next, our learning objective for this lesson. And at the end of this discussion, we should be able to discuss the different parts of the business plan. Okay, so why is it important to have a catchy tagline for your business? Okay, so I think yung mga ABM nakagawa na sila ng tagline for their business. I think siguro next week, ayun, next week siguro after nating ma-discuss yung buong business plan, they can present or I can show you the business plan they made, yung mga nagawa ng EBM na business plan. So we can see yung actual na itsura ng business plan. Okay, so yung mga tagline, ano yung mga, i-chat nyo nga sa chat box, yung mga tagline na natatandaan nyo, yung mga taglines ng mga businesses. For example, ano ba yung tagline ng SM, tagline ng BDO, tagline ng Jollibee, tagline ng McDo, yung something na talagang naalala nyo. Yan, minsan pa nga ginagamit to sa mga sa mga banat, 'di ba? Banat lines. Ayan. So ano yung you can type in the chat box. You can type in the chat box ano yung mga tagline na na-catch yung attention nyo. Ayan. Something that change your life. And sabi ni Honey Wine Miranda, so clean, so good. Okay? And then, sabi ni Faith Alfonso, ang saya. Ayan. Minsan nagagamit ito sa mga quotes, right? Kapag nagbabanat tayo. Tama ba? Nagpa-punchline tayo, di ba? Mapapakalmot ka sa sarap, okay? Not familiar with Top Silogan ni Wolverine. Pero di ba ang catchy, mapapakalmot ka sa sarap. Okay, anything else? Yan, aside from Jollibee, Bida ang saya. O yan, sa BDO, no, we find ways. Yan, ang mga taglines ng mga third parties, we find ways. Okay. Where's the VIP? Yung pala ang tagline ng Wendy's. Okay. Sabi ni Riley Scott Howell, I think ito yung sa mga funeral. I think, no, like, ayun. Pag may patay, may hanap buhay. may gumagamit ba ng tagline na ganito? May tagline ba talaga na ganito? If in case, no, na magkaroon kayo ng business, tapos funeral, pwede yan, no? Something catchy. SM, we got it all for you. L'Oreal, because you're worth it. Okay. O, aside from Yums, meron pa bang iba? Gas, meron ba kayong ma-share? Mostly, puro Yums yung maraming alam na tagline ng business, so. Ayan. Sa TikTok pala yun. Suggestion ng opening ng funeral. Pero pwede yun, no? Okay, wala na bang iba? Finger licking good po sa Clover. Okay. Anything else? Wala na? Okay. Sabi ng Yums ni Angel Aniga. Ang dami na siya share ng Yums, ha? Sabi ni Angel Anigan, M&M's, melts in your mouth, not in your hands. Okay, Meralco, may liwanag ang buhay ata or ang liwanag ng bukas, not really sure, pero parang something like that. Okay, so, ayan. So, bakit daw importante, no? To have a catchy tagline for your business. Ang sabi ni Ferdelaine Fernandez, yan, para daw mas mapansin at makatch or makot ang attention and interest ng consumers. Okay? Kasi 'di ba, minsan sa tagline, through tagline, mas naaalala natin yung business. Okay? Yeah, mas nakikilala minsan yung business through tagline. And usually, nowadays 'di ba, using yung social media, mas madaming nasi-share or mas nasi-share yung business kapag medyo kapag catchy yung tagline nila. So more likely, yan tama si Lenny Kaputolan na it is a marketing strategy para mas madami yung ma-catch or ma-cover nilang market ng mga tao. Mas marami yung mapupuntahan at mapupuntahan nilang lugar, no? Through sharing dahil catchy yung tagline nila. So how can you integrate your tagline in promoting your business? Okay, so when we say target customer or yung tinatawag nating target market, kasi pag sa entrepreneur kasi or sa marketing side, when we say market, hindi siya yung market na kung saan tayo nabili ng pagkain or kung saan nagkakapalitan ng pera at ng mga product and services ang mga buyers and sellers. So hindi yun yung market, no, when we are talking about entrepreneurship and marketing. When we say market in entrepreneurship and marketing, market talks about the customer or yung tao, customer or consumer. Okay, so the target market refers to a selected and well-defined client segment among businesses serviceable market. Okay, so how to define your market? Okay, so syempre di ka lang naman gagawa ng business plan or di ka lang naman gagawa ng proposed product. So syempre, di ba, habang nagawa tayo ng product, iniisip natin kung kanino ba natin to ibebenta. Okay? So mas maganda kapag nag-create tayo ng product natin, iisip tayo ng specific na target market. Hindi pwedeng in general. Okay, so yon it consists, no, the demographics, geography, psychographics, and behavioral patterns. Okay, so yung demographics, ito, ang tinutukoy dito yung location dapat ba buong Pilipinas? Yan, syempre lalo na kapag starting business tayo and meron pa lang tayong siguro mga 2 to 3 line of products, mas better, no, na mas focus tayo sa specific na target market. So, ayan, paano natin siya sinesegment? Una, isipin muna natin yung demographics. Saang lugar ba? Kung yung business mo is itatayo mo sa Cavite, ayan, you can choose your target market within Cavite. Ayan. So, yun yung target market natin, taga Cavite, kasi ang business mo is nasa Cavite. Ayan. And then, psychographics. Ayan, aside from demographic, isa rin sa choices dito is yung kung male or female or both. Usually naman both, no? Kasi may equality ngayon And di na masyadong chine-check yung gender. Okay? And kung anong ages, ano ba, ang target ba natin is yung mga infant lang? Like, kunyari, ang in-offer natin is diaper or pampers. We can choose infants and as well as yung mga seniors na kailangan ng mag-diaper. Diaper, yan. Marami pang iba. Yan. Psychographics, ito naman, it talks about the status, kung lower or middle or upper class. Behavioral naman, ano ba siya? Eco-friendly ba or eco-lover ba yung ano nyo, target market nyo? Kung eco-lover siya, make sure na yung product nyo is healthful, no, or good to the environment. Okay? So yun, through that, no, kapag nakapili na tayo ng target market natin, nagkakaroon tayo ng unique selling proposition. Parang habang nagiging focus tayo or napo-focus natin yung specific na target market natin, mas lalong nagiging unique yung product natin. Okay, so how do we identify unique selling proposition? So yung USP is what differentiates you from other competitors. It is why shoppers like your product over others. For example, sa diaper or napkins siguro no para sa mga females, napkins. Yung ibang companies, yung pagka-create na lang ng napkins is not as eco-friendly or eco-lover just like your products. Okay, so yun yung magiging edge nyo. Kunyari, organic or recyclable yung ano nyo, pwedeng i-recycle yung napkin, like yung may parang tela, meron ng mga ganun ngayon eh. So yun yung nagiging uniqueness nyo from other companies. Okay, kasi ang naging target market nyo is mga eco-lover or eco-friendly na customer. Okay, so analyze the customer base. If you're already in business, the most effective way to outline your target market is to gather your client information and to analyze it. So for example, nag-start ka na ng business. So syempre, we need to check yung effectiveness or yung feedback ng customer sa business mo. So you might gather information through survey, interview, ayan. And minsan kasi 'di ba nagfi-fill up din ng mga customer kapag kumbaga pag tatanggap na sila ng resibo. Ayan. So we'll check kung gaano sila kadalas bumili din. Ayan, at anong product yung madalas nilang bilhin. Kung mas madalas bang bumili ang babae at sa lalaki doon sa business mo. So you'll check kung ano ba yung mas pagpapokusan nyo na magiging target market. Okay, so depende yan sa technique nyo. For example, yung product nyo mas madalas may babaeng bumibili. So you might strengthen your other product or magke-create pa kayo ng another product that is focused on male. So dalawa na yung magiging target market nyo, no? Para sa babae and para sa lalaki. Ayun. You might improve your other products na intended for male kasi nga unti yung bumibili, baka kailangan yung improve. So yun, through gathering client information. And analyze the competitor's customer base. Who does your competitor aim to target? Through their promotional efforts, where do they sell their products? You can either choose the same target market or opt for rather completely different phase. Okay, so depende pa rin sa'yo, no, kung anong pipiliin mo. Depende sa performance ng competitor mo. Gusto mo bang kunin yung customer nila or else i-cater mo yung mga customer na hindi bumibili doon. Okay, depende, no, sa pagiging competitive mo. Okay, so why does a good value proposition have a big impact in attracting customers? Okay, so a value proposition refers to the worth an organization guarantees to deliver to customers should they prefer to obtain their product. Okay, so in doing the value proposition, create a robust differentiation between you and your competitors, increases the standard of prospective leads and gain market share in your target market. Okay, so ayun, no, habang tumatagal, no, we should increase our standard na kumbaga yung standard natin in choosing your target market as well. Ayan. And ayan, and also, no, mas better kung mas ma-identify natin yung uniqueness natin or yung edge mo or yung competitive edge mo from other competitors. And something that we can offer that other companies cannot offer. And improve your operation potency. Yan yung operation within your company, for example, the production, the quality, the service that your employers can offer. Yan. Increase your revenue. Syempre, no, as time goes by, ang target natin is nag-i-increase yung revenue natin. Okay, so how do we increase the revenue? You can add production, the number of the production of the products or service, and then magpo-focus ka sa pagpaparami ng customers, and that can add or that can increase your revenue. Ensure that everybody in your company communicates a similar message. So yun, parang ano to yung similar message na tinutukoy dito is yung goal. Make sure lang na lahat ng goal mula subordinates up to the top management, may iisang goal. Yan, or may isa silang objective or relevant to each other yung goals nila or objectives. Okay, so a successful value proposition should be communicated to customer directly, either via company's internet site or alternative promotion or advertising. So yung product and or services offering, this section must showcase the standard value and advantage or your business offers. For example, yung mga functions nung products mo, ayan, and then yung benefit na ma-add nito dun sa mga bibili. Okay, so yan, a short explanation of the product or service you are offering, and then the proposed price of the product or services. Differentiate between your products or services to be offered and your competitors offering. Okay, ano yung meron kayo na hindi naman kayang i-offer ng competitors? For example, may additional functions kayo, ganyan, or pwedeng may discount, or mas maganda yung quality ng products nyo compared sa other. Ganun. This also includes information about your marketing style and strategies, the process on how your customer will process or fulfill their orders. Parang part to ng ng process sa marketing mix. Any legal issues that you need to address, like intellectual property or trademarks. Usually, lagi naman tong kasama, no, kapag nabili ng product. Okay, any product or services you plan to offer in the future. Okay, so remember, the business plan's products and services section is the heart of the business plan itself. So more likely part to ng marketing mix, where we'll see the products, price, promotion, place, and process, and other piece pa. While other parts of the business plan are also important, the products and services section is the soul of the business. All other parts of the business should be anchored in this section. Okay, so better no kapag nag-create tayo ng part ng marketing mix where we'll see the products or services, then make sure na i-indicate lahat ng important parts doon. For example, yung functions niya, yung benefit nito sa customer. Yan. Okay, so when you draft your product and services section, consider your reader as someone who has a very little knowledge about your business. Be clear to do the purpose. Okay, so just to wrap up, the target market refers to the selected and well-defined client segment among the business surveyable market. The value proposition refers to the worth an organization guarantees to deliver to customers should they prefer to obtain their product. The products and services section of the business plan is not only the inventory of what your business wants to produce. Okay, the last part of the business plan, the enterprise strategy, financial forecasting, compliance, and capital structure. Okay, so how can an entrepreneur foresee if the business has in mind will prosper? Okay, so the best way or the most effective way to see if the business will prosper is to do the forecasting, financial forecasting. Okay, so ito gawain to ng mga accountants or ng management, and they will do the financial statements and other computations, and then they will do some percentage or they will consider the inflation, marami pang silang i-consider just to check if in the future, considering all the problems that will be encountered and the risk, magpo-prosper ba siya. Okay, so at the end of this discussion, we should be able to differentiate parts of the business plan. Okay, so what are the 3 things that you noticed in the industry when it comes to improving its service to make their customers satisfied? Okay, so I think isa sa mga na-observe ko is nagsi-survey sila just to check if satisfied ba yung customer. If not, then they will ask suggestion from the customer. For example, ano yung part ng business or part ng restaurant na ayaw nila. Hindi ba malinis yung CR, then they can improve the cleanliness of the comfort room. And yung specific ba na food is hindi masarap, then they can do another training for the cooker or the chef. So yun yung mga nanonotice ko, no, when it comes to improving their services. And also siguro isa sa mga ways ng mga companies is to do seminars and continuous learning and training to the employees para maging better pa yung service nila. Ayan, and ma-maintain, no, if in case na excellent naman yung service nila. Okay, so based on your observation or interview, how do their business calculate its profit and losses, and how do they plan for this risk? Okay, so normally every quarter na-create sila ng financial statements, and through that they'll check if the profit is enough or the losses is okay. Then pag medyo alarming yung losses, then they will do shareholder meeting or management meeting, and then they will ask for the suggestions of everyone there in the meeting, kung ano yung plan, alternative actions para dun sa risk na yun. Okay, and then what is their plan on increasing their business capital and investment? So there are a lot of ways to increase our capital and investment. For example, you'll do public offering of the stocks. Dadagdagan ba natin yung mga investors natin? Magbebenta ba tayo ng mga assets natin na hindi naman ganun kailangan? Yan, there are a lot of ways to increase our capital and investments. So enterprise strategy is a set of choices and actions geared toward gaining a sustainable competitive advantage. Okay, so these are the processes of enterprise delivery system. For example, unang-una muna yung input. Okay, yung throughput na tinatawag dito is the process. So from the raw materials up to the the process, and then after transforming the raw materials through processing, then yung yung output na or yung end product or the finished goods na tinatawag, and then they will advertise it through marketing strategies, and then they will check the outcome if naging mabenta ba siya or not, and through those results, they will check kung ano ba yung magiging next actions pa nila. So the enterprise delivery system involves harnessing human, money, and physical resources from well-selected suppliers. These resources become the input that the operations unit within the enterprise delivery system will convert or transform into output. So maraming pwedeng maging input. So aside from raw materials, we also need labor. And aside from the raw materials that will be transformed to finished goods, meron pang mga indirect materials and mga indirect labor pa. For example, at ano ba yung mga indirect labor or indirect material na to? Ito yung mga materials na ginagamit from the back office. For example, ng mga security guard, hindi naman talaga sila involved in creating the product. So, itong mga security guard, mga managers, and then yung mga accountants, yung mga human resource, hindi naman sila yung nag-create ng product. So part sila ng mga indirect labor and indirect materials. While yung mga direct materials naman, ito naman yung talagang involved doon sa pag-create ng product. For example, kung lapis yung ginagawa nyo, so syempre yung mga raw materials na makakapag-create ng lapis, and then kung sino ba yung nagumagawa nun, yung mga machines, and then yung mga operators ng machine, yan yung mga direct na labor and direct material. So kapag meron ka na nun, complete na yon, and then well-selected na yung suppliers mo ng raw material, then this input will be converted into output or yung tinatawag nating finished goods. Okay? So the output will be delivered to the customer through marketing unit of the enterprise delivery system. So we have lots of techniques on how to deliver the outputs or the finished goods to the customer. Pwedeng direct marketing na tinatawag. For example, galing mismo dun sa warehouse up to the customers. This can be the retailers or yung mga resellers na tinatawag. Yun yung pwede mo maging first customer. Or pwede namang through distributor. For example, meron kayong mga alam na product na sa distributor mo na mapupunta. For example, yung mga yung mga product na mga sabon, ganon. Ayun, may mga distributor muna up to the customer. So, pwedeng maging ganon, no? Ayan. And pwedeng through commercial. Then, bibili ang mga customers sa mga stores like Pure Gold, like 7-Eleven, yung mga ganon. Okay, so maraming types or maraming techniques hanggang mapunta yung product or finished goods to the customer. The marketing would include the right packaging, pricing, promotion, selling, and distribution, and the location where the target customers can best be found. Okay, so the business outcome should reasonably include high customer satisfaction level, high sales volume, market share, and market reach, high financial return, and high people's performance, productivity, and morale levels. How will the entrepreneur check if the business will gain profit? Okay, so yan, nasa financial forecast tayo. Okay, so here in the financial forecast, it refers to the capital investment and resources of funding in the operation of the business. This section will show the financial projections over a period of 1 year up to the 5-year 5 years of the program and shall determine the rate of return of investment. So dito, no, sa financial forecasting, malalaman natin kung magkano ba ang kailangan nating kapital. Yan. And how do we get those capital then? Or how do we fund the capital? And then, through making financial projection 1 year up to 5 years, then we'll check kung kailan ba babalik yung mga puhunan natin. Okay, so first part ng financial forecast, yung balance sheet, which includes the asset, liability, and equity. Yan. The balance sheet shows the financial position of the enterprise as of the given period of time. It reflects the total assets, liability, shareholders, and earnings preserved to fund future operations or to serve as funding for expansion. When we say assets, ito yung mga bagay, no, na owned by the business. For example, cash, yung mga equipments natin, yung land and building, yung mga yung mga computers, ayan, assets yan ng company. Okay? Yan, yung mga machines no, sa paggawa ng product. Yan. And liabilities, ito naman yung mga utang ng business. Kasi normally naman, no, lalo na kapag malalaki yung business, syempre kailangan din nilang magkaroon ng funding, meron pa rin silang utang, ganyan. Pero dapat nasa standard or thumb rule ng business. Okay, and then yung tinatawag na shareholders and earnings. Okay, so ito yung parang ownership ng mga may-ari ng business. Business owners, investors, or shareholders. So yun yung laman ng balance sheet natin. Okay, so example ng balance sheet, we'll see here the asset, liabilities, and stockholders equity, or pwede itong maging owner's equity. So depende sa company, no? Itong example na to is example of a corporation company, korporasyon sa. Yan. Pwede rin naman tayo mag-create ng business na kunyari ikaw lang gusto mong mag-isa, ikaw lang yung owner, then that can be a sole proprietor ship company. And then if gusto mo may partner ka and hindi naman kayo makakapag-release ng stock kasi parang kumbaga medium yung business nyo, so you can create a partnership. Okay? And then kapag sobrang dami na ng owners, and then you can put or you can increase funding through public offering of the stocks, then you can convert your company into corporation, and that would be incorporated na tinatawag. Okay? So itong example na to is a corporation company kasi may stockholders equity. We'll see here sa assets, ito yung mga cash, petty cash. When we say petty cash, ito yung mga nire-reimburse. Yan, kunyari may kainan sa company, like magpapakain kayo kasi may birthday, then huhugot kayo sa petty cash, pwede yon. Then pag nagastos na yung petty cash, pinapa-reimburse yon, ganun. Temporary investments, yan yung mga short-term investments. Accounts receivable, ito yung mga cash na ine-expect mong masingil within 1 year. Kumbaga merong may utang sa'yo at ine-expect mong mabayaran ka within 1 year, ito yun, accounts receivable. Okay, so yun, kapag sa mga accounting term, kapag may utang sa'yo, meron kang accounts receivable. Inventory, ito yung mga, kunyari last year, nagbenta kayo ng mga products and then may natira, so that would be part of your inventory. Okay? Or kumbaga hindi lahat ng products na inabenta nyo magiging part siya ng assets, which is the inventory. Yung supplies naman, ito yung tinatawag kong kanina na yung mga gamit ng mga back office such as the management, yung mga accountants, marketing, yung mga security guards, yung mga hindi involved doon sa pag-create ng product. So, mga office supplies, yan, mga stapler, for example, yung mga papel sa yung mga papel sa office, mga lapis, ballpen, mga tape, yan, ayan. So part ng supplies yun. Prepaid insurance, yan. We all are all aware of the insurance. Part din yan ng assets. And then liabilities, syempre ito yung may mga utang sa atin, no? Kapag tayo naman yung may utang. So ito naman yung mga dapat nating bayaran sa mga third party. So yung notes payable, or ito yung mga utang natin na may kasulatan. For example, kunyari ikaw, hindi ka makapagbayad ng tuition. So gagawa ka muna ng promissory note. So magpa-promise ka na mababayaran mo tong tuition mo after 3 months, ganun. So notes payable ang tawag doon. Okay, yung accounts payable naman, ito naman yung utang na walang kasulatan. For example, may nangutang lang sa'yo, may nangutang ka lang yan, and then babayaran mo lang next week. So, accounts payable naman to. Para siyang kabaliktaran ng accounts receivable. Wage payable, ayan, ito naman yung utang natin sa employees na dapat nating bayaran sa kanila, yung mga salaries nila and wages, yung mga sweldo nila. Interest payable, ito naman, nangyayari to kapag interest payable, kapag kunyari meron tayong pa-discount, ayan, and then, tawag dito, kapag meron, kunyari sa bangko nangutang tayo, di ba may interest yon. So, instead na 50,000 lang yung babayaran natin, for example, 10% yung interest, then dadagdagan natin ng 10%. Yung 10%, yun yung magiging interest payable. Okay? Tax payable, ito yung mga taxes natin, warranty payable, warranty liability, and unearned revenues. So yung unearned revenues, ito yung mga binayaran agad ni customer pero hindi pa natin nagagawa. No, nag-bayad sila in advance pero hindi pa natin na-perform or hindi pa natin na-deliver sa kanila yung product. Okay, so also part din ng assets yung mga land improvements, buildings and equipments, goodwill, trade names, yung mga royalty, yung mga intangible assets. For example, yung mga trade names, like yung mga brands, yan, na ginagamit din ng ibang store. For example, kapag meron kang mga franchise, yan, ginagamit sila ng ibang tao, then magkakaroon ka ng ganyan. And then, yan. So, sa stockholders' equity naman, syempre, dito papasok yung mga stocks, shares. So, different kind of shares, merong preferred, merong common stocks. Ganun. And then, other comprehensive income. For example, nagbenta ka ng assets kasi kailangan mo ng fund, then that can be part of the other comprehensive income. Okay? So, yun, no? Overview lang, no, ng balance sheet. At least, kahit hindi tayo ABM, meron tayong idea on this part kasi kapag someday, no, gusto nating mag-create ng or magtayo ng business, at least meron tayong idea sa mga basic account titles. Yan. So you can use the balance sheet to work out a way to meet your financial obligations, yung part ng liability, yung financial obligations na tinatawag dito, and discover the most effective way to use credit to finance your operations. And then to check, no, kung pwede ka pa bang umutang. Ayun. So for example, ang thumb rule kasi natin para mangutang is 2:1. Dapat yung asset mo is, yung amount niya is twice the liability. So as you can see here, 770, 481. Then I think max na to, hindi na kayo pwedeng umutang. No, kasi dapat lang 335 lang yung liability nyo. Then pwede kayong mangutang. Lagpas na sa ng 50%. So hindi na kayo pwedeng umutang. So the next way to increase your funding is to release stocks or to add more shares. Yan. And baka pwede kayo magbenta ng assets. Okay, the income statement shows the revenue, cost of goods sold, operating expenses, other income and expenses, financing cost, income taxes, and bottom line figures. when we say revenues, ito yung kinikita ng kapag nakabenta ka ng product, so ayun yung kinita mo. Kaya ayun yung revenue and sales mo. Yung cost of goods sold, parang ito yung gastos mo, no? Ito yung presyo ng pagka-create mo ng product. Okay? For example, nag-create ka ng sabon, 50 pesos siya. Okay, so ayun yung amount ng cost of goods sold mo. And then, syempre, kino-consider pa natin yung other expenses, for example, yung operating expenses and other general and admin expenses. Syempre, i-add natin yun sa cost of goods sold. Then, saka tayo mag-iisip kung magkano ba yung presyo na isisingil natin para sa sabon na yun. So, kunyari, ang cost of goods sold niya is 50 pesos, and then yung kuryente, yung pang-sweldo natin sa tauhan natin, yung packaging nito, yung machines na ginamit, so i-equate lang natin yun. Then, na-check natin, no, after calculating, ang dapat palang, ang pinaka-total pala ng presyo ng bawat sabon is 80 pesos. Then, saka ka mag-i-increase for markup prices, no? Kung magkano mo na ba siya ibebenta. For example, gusto mo nang tumubo ng 20 pesos kada sabon, then you will sell it for 100 pesos. And that 100 pesos is your revenue. Okay, so example ng income statement. Yan, dito pinakita, no, ito na yung parang projection natin mula 2018 up to 2022. So yung 2018 natin, ito yung basihan natin, no, kung ano yung magiging 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. So 2018, nag-create na tayo ng product, tapos binenta natin. Yan, so ayan, nilista na natin yung mga advertising and promotion expenses natin. Yung depreciation and amortization, ito yung kunyari may equipment tayo. Ayan, hindi naman yung equipment kasi nade-depreciate yan. Kumbaga, since nagtatagal siya more than a year, parang per year nababawasan yung value niya. Okay, so lahat ng bagay except sa art at sa lupa, ayan yung mga hindi nababawasan ng value. Kumbaga nag-a-appreciate pa yan, tumataas pa yung value niya. Yung lupa at yung artwork. The rest, nade-depreciate, nababawasan yung value. Okay, so yun. Usually naman, ano lang man to, dinidivide lang sa per year. For example, yung machine na ginagamit natin, ang economic life na is 5 years. Then, divide mo lang by 5. And yung depreciation expense mo would be, for example, 500 yung machine, tapos 5 years siya magagamit. So, divide mo by 5, 100,000. Yung expenses mo, depreciation expense mo will be 100,000. Okay, and then insurance expense, and then maintenance expense, office supplies expense, rent expense, yung pampasweldo mo, telecommunication if you are using internet or phone to communicate with the customer, travel expense or transportation expense, utilities, ito naman actually yung telecommunication can be part of utilities. Yung utilities, ito yung tawag nating mga kuryente, tubig, and internet, ganun. Other expenses, pwede itong mga miscellaneous na lang, yung mga unexpected expenses or maliliit lang na expenses. Yan. So after computing all your revenue, yan, then yung presyo ng product mo, which is the cost of goods sold, and then the other expenses listed here, then malalaman natin, no, na gaano kalaki yung revenue natin na 7,692 plus 19, and the discounts na 9,325. But subtracting the cost of goods sold and other expenses, 390 pala. 390 lang talaga yung totoong kinita natin for that first year. And then meron pang interest expense and income taxes, no, na dapat bayaran. So at the end of the year of 2018, the net earnings or yung pinaka-net income natin is 252 pesos lang. Okay? And yeah, so 2019, paano natin siya i-improve? Marami tayong kino-consider. Pwede mong, isa sa consider mo kung bakit mag-i-increase yung revenue is the inflation, meaning dahil nagkakaroon ng inflation kada taon, is i-increase mo din yung price mo. Okay? Kasi considering na nagkakaroon ng inflation, so mag-i-increase yung expenses mo, cost of goods sold, and the revenue by percentage ng inflation rate. So you can search in the Google kung ano ba yung usually na tinataas kada taon ng mga bilihin, no, inflation rate. And as well as, syempre, nag-expand tayo, no? Or nag-expect tayo na lalaki yung customer natin. So, ayun, dadagdagan natin yung revenue natin. So, estimated lang naman to, no? Yan. Pero at least meron kang basis kung bakit ka nagtataas ng revenue and other expenses. Okay? And kunyari, tinaasan mo rin yung production mo. For example, 2018, 100 na sabon yung i-release nyo. 2019, 150 na sabon na. And by 2020, tataas ulit ng 100 na sabon. Ganun, magiging 200 na, ganun. So, it depends on you. So, dapat meron ka lang basis kung bakit tataas yung revenue, yung expenses, cost of goods sold, and that's how you will discuss it with the shareholders. So parang nagpo-foresee kayo ng mga balak nyo, mga plans nyo in up to 5 years. Okay? So ito medyo hindi maganda yung hindi maganda yung naging plan nila kasi nga pababa siya, dapat pataas to eh. Ayan. Okay, so meaning, no, kapag ganito, pag pababa, then that would be an indication na itigil na natin yung business na to kasi pababa pala eh. We are expecting na by 5 years, maaaring nabawi na yung yung mga investment natin. Okay, so cash flow, it is the projection of money, receipts and expenses payments. It shows how and when money flows through the business. It provides verification of whether a company has enough liquidity of money to pay its expenses. Okay, sa cash flow statement, pinapakita lang naman dito kung paano natin ginamit yung pera at paano natin na-receive yung pera. Okay? So a cash flow statement may be a valuable measurement of strength, profit, and long-term future outlook of a company. Okay, so lastly, the last part of the business plan is the environmental and regulatory compliances or other compliances pa. So the business plan should articulate the laws and regulations governing the business and also on how the enterprise operates. It should lay out the plans for acquiring the required permits, licenses, authority to use proprietary intellectual capital. So bago ka magpatayo ng business, so ang dami mo pang kailangan. First, you need BIR or TIN number for your business, then barangay clearance. It should be approved by the DTI. Yan. And you should register your business name. And then the mayor's permit or business permit, sanitation permit, and fire clearance, SEC certificate. Yan. At marami pang iba actually. Yan. The entrepreneur should identify first what type of business will be established so that he or she will know the exact registration and clearance to secure. For example, kung ano bang industry yung pipiliin mo, food ba? So definitely ibang klaseng sanitation permit. Yan. Or kung sole proprietor ba siya, partnership or corporation. Okay, so capital structure refers to the combination of debt and equity to use as the company's fund and finance its operations. So yung debt na tinatawag, ito yung liability yon, no? And then yung equity, ito yung mga ownership. So this can include the investors, the shareholders' equity, or the business owners' capital. First is the equity capital. This form of capital refers to any money put up and owned by the shareholders. Yun yung mga stocks, ganun. Okay, contributed capital, it is the money that was originally invested in the business as business for shares of stocks or ownership in return. For example, ito yung mga initial investment na tinatawag. And then yung retained capital, these are the profits from previous years that have been secured by the business and used for the fund growth, acquisition, or expansion. For example, kumikita na yung business mo, so lumalaki na yung revenue niya, and then wala kayong plan para i-distribute pa tong income na to the as dividends to the shareholders and the business owners or the partners, then you will retain this income or revenue to be used for more operating cycle or another operating cycle, and for the expansion pwede, and acquisitions of assets, and for expansion, ganun. Long-term bonds, it is generally considered one of the safest types because the business will have several years to pay the principal while paying the interest only in a short period of time until the loan matures. Vendor financing, it happens once a company sells a product before having to pay their vendor. This could dramatically increase the company's return on equity while not costing the business any upfront. For example, may mga suppliers tayo and then na-deliver agad yung mga raw materials, and then siguro naka-schedule tayong magbayad sa kanila next month, but before that deadline, naibenta agad natin yung mga raw materials natin. So meaning, no, bago pa tayo makapagbayad for that raw materials, kumita agad tayo. Okay, kasi nga 'di ba next month pa natin babayaran yung halaga ng raw materials natin. Pero naibenta agad natin yun. Okay, policyholder float financing. In the case of insurance firms, this often refers to cash that does not belong to the business. However, it earns an investment until an insurance claim has been made. Okay, parang part ng insurance. Different types of capital impose different kinds of risk for a company. For this reason, capital structure affects the worth of a company. And so a lot of analysis goes into deciding what a company's best capital structure should be. Okay, so just to wrap up, enterprise strategy is a set of choices and actions geared towards gaining a sustainable competitive advantage. The financial forecast section of a business plan refers to the capital investment and sources of funding and the operation of the business. Business plan should articulate the laws and regulations governing the business and its operation through environmental and regulatory compliance. The capital structure refers to the combination of debt and equity to use as the company's fund and finance its operation. Okay, I know it's kind of heavy, especially for gas and fumes yung topic na to, no? Okay, do you have any question? May questions ba tayo? Nasak ba tayo? Any question, guys, from ABM, gas, and fumes? Narinig ba? Baka di ako nadidinig. Okay, so sabi ni Charlotte, none. Okay, for the ABM pala, kasi di ba meron kayong business plan and you'll be preparing the financial forecast as early as now. Yung mga expenses na mentioned dito, for example, itong mga advertisement, promotion, depreciation, insurance, you can list na kung magkano ba siya. And yung part ng cost of goods sold nyo, for example, kung nagawa kayo ng kape, yung ingredients na ilista nyo na kung magkano ba siya. Kung bulk ba siya, ilan yung product na na-create nyo. And yung target number of products na gusto nyo i-create for the year or pwede namang for the month. Let's check for the month. Then we'll see kung magkano ba siya in a year. Yun, as early as now yan, you can already check or write down or take down notes the expenses, yung mga expected expenses natin, mga equipments or assets, ganun. Okay, may questions ba from ADM, gas, and Yumes? Okay, I think none. Okay pa ba tayo? Okay. So yun lang, no, for the EBM, yung mga possible expenses nyo, if in case na na-create nyo na yung product nyo, ano ba yung mga expenses na ina-expect nyo, no, for your business. Okay, if wala na kayong questions, then that's all for today. You can take your dinner na. Thank you, Gas, ABM, and Yumes. Okay, bye. Thank you.